Well, and you had mentioned you gave me a call today, and you were talking about how you had some concern with just Mel Tucker and the recent, uh, let's say, recruiting activity that has been going on. I'll kick it to you and let you kind of explain it to our viewers, but
I mean, look.
that was very interesting.
Look. Mel Tucker and MSU, they're doing some, creative. What they're trying to utilize NIL. They're trying to utilize different avenues, to get higher caliber players to East Lansing at least to visit, and then while they're there, trying to show them a good time and try to do things outside the box, like having players take pictures with Ferraris and stuff like that. And look, it, it may seem a little cheesy and a little like, dude, you're trying a little too hard, but that's his job to do whatever he can and leave no
Hmm.
stone unturned to win as many games as he can and to get the best players he can, because it is MSU, it is East, it's not even though they've been a very, very, very respectable program, not just regionally in the Big Ten, but nationally. They're one of the few teams to be in a CFP. That's legitimate. So look, they're very respectable, but they're never going to be on a name, have the name brand recognition to automatically get their foot in the door with some of these high caliber players. And he's done a decent job. You got to give him credit this offseason with doing that. And he's got a couple of these kids, 4-star kids, to commit to him. And that's huge. That worries me as a fan, because we're already down 0-2 to him and he's just getting started. You cannot ignore that. You can try to omit it because we had a great season and we finished further than they did last year. But remember, we lost last year. We lost
That's
again.
true.
And he as of now, Tucker has kind of pieced together his roster. Dive into the transfer portal because he hasn't really got his footprint of recruiting his players yet, but he's doing it now. So what does that mean for this year and future years, if he's able to start recruiting at a pretty good level? And he's already found, seems to have, as of now, Harbaugh's number. That matters, man. I'm sorry, I don't accept just losing to MSU. You're not going to see a smile on my face, if you see an L for us next to MSU in Ohio State. I can't accept that, and Michigan fans shouldn't either. You cannot, Harbaugh going to year 8 cannot be going down 0-3 to Mel Tucker. It's unacceptable. You find a way to beat those Spartans. Okay, enough, enough. You're a better program than they are. You are ahead of them right now. Okay, it's not like when Harbaugh took over where D'Antonio had his thing humming. All right, no, you are the better program. Your program's in a better footing. You bet not lose 3 years in a row. Enough. I'm sorry. Like I can't take it. And this is in combination with you know uh, Wart Manuel and Harbaugh's comments about being a player at the University of Michigan is a transformative experience, not a transactional one. In response to them expanding on the way
NIL.
they use NIL to get players on campus. I don't want to hear that. How about you can do both? You can do both. You still can have a
Agree.
transformative experience as a Michigan football player, and also you can have a little transactional too. Your job is to win as many football games as you can, not we're going to make sure you're imprinted to be a Michigan man. The only thing that matters is the scoreboard and winning. And if it doesn't to you, then you're everything that people criticize us to be, which is posers and living in a la la land. And I just can't accept that. You need to do everything you can to win as many football games as you can. And that's it.
Well, and the resources that Michigan has, I mean, is essentially endless. I mean, obviously there's an end to it, but I mean, you have a very involved alumni who owns an NFL team like that. Goodness gracious! I mean, if you there's a lot that goes that person just alone can do, and it sounds like he is someone who is willing to to donate and do things in conjunction with Michigan. So it's not as if you're a program where we've been down a long time and we don't have the fan base. It's not connected. I mean, it's one of the proudest fan bases in the country. So yeah, I mean, you've got the resources. So it with NIL, it's not something that you can just ignore and put your head in the sand and just and think this thing is going to go away, because if anything, it's just going to grow. So you've got to figure out a way to do it where number one, you have to figure out a way to do it where you feel comfortable as a program, whatever that means to you. Whether it's the Texas A&M, whether whatever the case is, whether it's Miami, because they've I think they had something set up where if you were an O lineman for Miami, you got a X amount of dollars per month, and maybe it was Texas, but I'm pretty sure it was Miami, or
Yeah.
if it's Texas A&M where they that's part of their offer. I don't really care what it is because number one, these kids should be compensated, but number two, I mean, it's not going to be. I don't think it's one or the other. I don't think it's I'm going to the team that's going to pay me the most, or I'm going to the team that has the best recruiting pitch or the best program. I think it's going to be a balance. Like, okay, well, if I don't go to, if I'm a 5-star kid, I can pick anywhere I want. Well, maybe I don't go to whatever. Let's say Oklahoma offers me the most NIL money, and it's a really good program, but maybe I want to get one of the teams who was in the CFP last year, or I think there's going to be a balance, but I can't. But I'm not going to choose Ohio State if they're not going to pay me anything in the NIL or the I can't remember what they're called, the collection or whatever the case. If the collection's not going to pay me anything, there's got to be some kind of balance in there. And like I said, whatever makes you comfortable as a program, because I do get it. It feels kind of weird because it's just the wheels are off on it. It just there's no real governing body. It's just kind of all over the place. So I do understand the feeling of it, but you can't just ignore this and just think that this is just going to be fine and let these kids figure it out, and they need to get their own deals, make their own connections, things like that, because there are teams and programs that are making the connections for these kids. So you've got to do something. You cannot do nothing in this and think that you're going to survive in this recruiting environment that we're in today.